Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Soph, also known as Soph here on YouTube, over on Instagram and on TikTok. I'll leave the links below so you can find them if you so wish. So this is my corner of the internet where I just talk all about cross stitch and show you my progress on projects that I'm working on, also known as WIPs, so work in progress. My finishes, any starts or any plans for the future. So without further ado, I'll get on to it. So I just wanted to go through a brief overview of what I'll be discussing today. So I've got a couple of finishes for you, some new starts, some WIPs, and I've also got a little bit of haul to show you. Of course, I can't stop myself from buying patterns, etc. So there's always going to be something like that to show you. And then at the end, I just want to go through a couple of things that I've been watching and reading as well. So let's start. So firstly, I just want to apologise for not releasing a video in the time frame that I said. It's just been a bit busy with me at the moment, just with life situations. Nothing bad, just going through consultation for redundancy with work, which means that I've been looking for jobs elsewhere. I have secured another job and I'm just waiting to start there, so I've just been preparing for interviews and my head's just been all over the place really to sit down and be able to do this. But I have been stitching, so I have got a lot to show you. Going forward, I think I'm going to plan on monthly videos, and then if I can do a 2-weekly one in between, I will do, because this new job that I'll be starting in is going to be full-time. I'm going to have a little less time on my hands to sit down and do this, but any spare time I do have, I will be stitching, so don't worry, there will be things that I can show you. So the first things that I wanted to show you, I have 2 finishes and I'm super proud of these. This is the Widow Frog by the Night Spirit Studio. So this is a picture of what it looked like the last time I showed you, and I couldn't put it down after I started for Stitch for Sage, so I've managed to get a finish on her, and she's fully finished, she's in a frame. So this is the Widow Frog, and I absolutely love her. She was stitched on 18 count black Aida that I had in stash, all the called for DMC, and it started it on the 8th of May and finished on the 29th of June. And she just looks fantastic. I think she's going to sit on the wall behind me for you all to see on each video, because yeah, she's one of my favourites I've done. But I framed her in this golden gothic frame that I bought off eBay, and I think it suits her really well. So that is my first finish to show you. So my second finish is Mushrooms by SamXStitch. So I think the last time I showed you, I said it'd probably take me another 6 weeks or 3 weeks to complete, just because I was doing 1 mushroom per week. But I sat down and stitched this after I finished the Widow Frog, and I just could not put it down. So I have actually got a finish on this one as well. This is Mushrooms by SamXStitch on Etsy. I framed it in an oak frame, sorry about the glare, there's a window directly opposite me. So this is probably as good as you're gonna get with this one. I thoroughly enjoyed stitching this. It was nice just to have little like finishes within a pattern, so each mushroom is like a finish, so you could just do that in an evening. It just feels like a accomplishment. So this was actually stitched on 28 count natural beige linen from Stitch Bunny shop, and all the called for DMC. I started this on the 8th of April and finished it on the 13th of July. So this is going to be framed, well, it's already framed. This is going to hang up behind my sofa in the living room, I think. I love it. I think my favourite mushroom is either this one or these little guys here. But everyone was really fun to stitch. But she's got some with like insects and moths and things like that on, which I wouldn't mind trying, you know, in a couple of months' time. So that is my second finish. So I've got a couple of new starts for you. So I did mention this, I believe, in my last couple of videos. This is Lazy Daisy Cross Stitch Be Kind pattern. It's free if you sign up to a newsletter. This is what it'll look like when it's completed, and this is where I am now. I hope you can see it, but it is just the inside of the pattern at the moment, so it's very hard to see on this this Aida that I've got, but it's like it's almost a crew. I can't remember what number DMC that is, but there'll be colours around the outside that'll make it stand out. But it's quite a 70s pattern, that's why I've gone for like the pumpkin patch tie-dye Aida here, which is, I believe it's 14 count. And I've just gone for all the called for DMC. I started this one on the 1st of July. So I've not done a lot more stitching since I started it that first day, but yeah, I'll pick that up at some point. I'm going on holiday soon. I think that'll be a nice little one to take along with another project, 'cause I'm away for 2 weeks. So maybe that's something I could fly through when I'm on holiday. So that's my first new start. So this is my second new start, and if you've been watching me since the beginning, you'll think I'm a little bit mad, but I have already stitched this one, and you've seen it like as a work in progress, you've seen it as a finished piece, and you've also seen it as an FFO, so fully finished object, and I'm doing it again. I'm not crazy. My cousin, my lovely cousin Sarah, who crocheted this blanket for me, and ponchos and many other things, requested it from me, and because she's so great at doing crochet, I thought, okay, I will take this on board for you. I will do it again. And to be honest, I've actually been really enjoying stitching it. So this is Seaside by Stitchrovia or Emma Congdon. So this is what it'll look like when it's fully finished, and this is where I am with it at the moment. Apologies, I have not ironed it. So we've got one full page finish here, and I've started on the page below. So I'm doing this one at the moment. This was started on the 19th of July. And I believe, because I'm stitching it for her as a present, I believe I've got until October to stitch it, but I want to get it done as soon as possible so she has it before she needs to gift it. So this is stitched on 14 count Boardwalk by Sew It All. I got this online from them, and it's very similar to the one that I had before from Cross Stitch Bunny Shop, but I was making an order on Sew It All and I saw a similar one and I thought I'd give it a go. So that is the Aida there. So it looks like washed out wood, and it's just 3 DMC for this pattern, which is really easy, especially when you're traveling, because you don't have to take many with you, and the effect is just so lovely when it's finished. So yeah, that is my second new start, and I'm not mad about it, to be honest. I'm actually quite enjoying it. I don't usually like repeating patterns, but this one's quite a fun one. One thing I did want to One thing I did want to touch on before we move on to my work in progress is I mentioned at the beginning of June on, I think, my last but one video, that I was selling HAED PDF patterns on my Etsy shop, and for every pattern that is bought I would donate a percentage to Stonewall Cymru. So unfortunately no one bought those patterns within the month of June, but because I felt so strongly about the charity, I did want to donate to them for the month of Pride. So I have donated £10 to them. I wish I could donate more, maybe when I've got my full-time job. But here is the proof of my donation, just to show you guys. And yeah, if you fancy donating to them as well, please do so. It's a great charity. So in the last video I asked you guys to pick a new whip for me, which you'll notice isn't on my new starts. It is in the process of, I just needed to get the haul to start them. So the winners for that vote, I actually have 2. The reason being, I was silly enough to do a vote on YouTube and then a vote over on Instagram. On Instagram, this one won, which is Pink and Sun Mountainscape by Crystal Feather Crafts, I believe. Yep, so Crystal Feather Crafts. And then this one by Night Spirit Studio, which is the Mourning Willow or Victorian Mourning Tree. So both of them are going to be new starts that I'll be adding to my whip pile, and you'll probably see next month. I have got the stuff for them, and I'll show you on my haul what I'm going to be stitching them on. But I just wanted to let you know I haven't forgotten about them. It was just a case that I needed to kit up for them before I start. So they will be started by the next time I speak to you. So let's go on to my whips. So the first whip I want to show you is the Eclipse by Carolyn Manning. So this is what it looked like last time I showed you. And then this is what it looks like today. So I've done a little bit of work on here. I've actually had a full page finish. So this is a full page here, and I've made a start. You can just about see it because it's on navy Aida. So this is on 16 count navy Aida, and there's like navy stitches, as you can see here and like there. When it doesn't have the other colours inside, you can hardly see that I've stitched, but there are some stitches here and down here and then a couple here. So I have made a start on the bottom page. As you can see, it's quite a lot smaller than the top page. So all I need to do is stitch all this, and then it'll just be a duplication on the other side, and then that'll be the pattern finished. I'm loving the effect on it. I love all the different colours, and it's just a nice stitch. I've gone to a couple of meetups with a couple of stitchy friends. Hi to Tan and Michelle, who I met in Hereford. Had such a lovely day with them, and this is one of the ones that I took to stitch. And it's just so nice because you just have a chunk of colour that you need to stitch. You don't have to do much counting in your head when you're doing it. You're just filling in sections, and it leaves you a lot more time to be able to talk and natter and get to know people. So that's been quite fun to take to situations like that. So I've been really enjoying this. I started it on the 1st of May. Oh no, I lied. The 2nd of May for #ManInMaySal, and even though it's not May, I'm continuing to do it because by next May I potentially want to start another Carolyn Manning. She's got so many good ones. So that one is my first whip that I wanted to show you. The next one is the Wanderer SAL. This is a stitch along that I started back on the 29th of April, and I've been really enjoying it. Every 14th of the month a new bottle gets released that you can stitch into this cabinet that you would have already stitched. So I'll show you because it'll make more sense. So you get this cabinet that you stitch, and it's all in black work, and then you get a release. If I can show you, I'll get a bit closer. It's such a big piece, this one. It's really difficult to show, but this was the latest release, which is Paris. So this was released this month, and I've shown you before Venice, Cairo and New York was the last one. So I actually guessed Paris would be the next bottle. I had a little competition with my partner. He thought Istanbul, and I said it's either going to be Paris or Dubai, and I guessed Paris. So I was really happy about that, and that stitched up really quickly, this one, but it's so effective. I just love it. So yeah, I'm excited for the next one to be released on the 14th of August. I love to start it the day it's released and then try and finish it ASAP. Just because, yeah, it's really exciting. I love doing black work. Definitely want to start a few more. So before I forget and I move on, this is stitched on 16 count Beige Aida, and it's not all the called for DMC, roughly the called for DMC, but I think with the red and the blue and the green I've changed it slightly. So I just picked what I had in stash because, like I said, I want to stitch it on the day. I just picked whatever colour I had available, and I've tried to match it then in all the other bottles. So yeah, really enjoy that. If you like that one, it's by a company called Quarter Neon Creations. You can buy it directly from her Instagram page or on her Etsy. But yeah, thoroughly enjoying that one, and I'm sure you'll be able to catch up if you started now. I've gone through that quite quickly actually. I feel like I need to get a few more whips on the go, so or work on more whips. There's definitely one I need to show you, but I haven't touched at all. So that's the Queen or Freddie Mercury one. I will pick that up at some point this month, so I'll be able to show you the progress on that. There's just a bit of frogging that I need to do, and I'm trying to put it off as much as possible, to be honest. But maybe that's something I can take with me when I go camping. So I just wanted to go through a few things that I've bought, a few things that I plan to do in the future, and I just wanted to slip a few mentions in when I talk about this because it all kind of gels into one another. So the first thing I wanted to mention is I was scrolling through Instagram, as you do. I think Marjorie Made Stitches mentioned a new cross stitcher on Instagram called Jester J Stitches, and I had a quick nosy on their page, and their first post was a post of a SAL that they're participating in at the moment, which is called 1 Point Mind SAL or Free SAL, and instantly I fell in love with this one. So thank you so much for sharing that. It is a really nice SAL, and I'll link it below. You can download it for free. I haven't started it yet. I am thinking of kitting up for it. I just want to finish the one I'm doing for my cousin, so the Stitchrovia designs, before I start that one, because I know it's going to distract me. So I'm quite far behind on it, but I don't mind not catching up. I just like it as a pattern to stitch. And I also saw on Instagram Wolfie Stitches. She does some fantastic designs. I love the colours she chooses of the fabric, etc. And she was stitching, sorry that I'm looking down and reading my notes, my memory is not that good. So she was stitching a pattern called A Time for All Seasons, number 10. So if you don't know what that looks like, head over to her Instagram. I'll put her name down below. Give her some love. She's got some lovely designs on there. I just loved the colour of the fabric that she chose. So I did some research, had a look online, and I found a 40 count Newcastle linen in Lagoon that I really want to stitch this 1 Point Mind free SAL on. And when I stitch it onto that colour, I was thinking of stitching it in Ecru or in 3799. So I haven't decided which one I like yet. I think I'm going to buy the fabric, and then I'm just going to lay the Ecru and the 3799 next to it and just see which one would suit it better. But that's what I'm aiming for with that SAL. So that's where I'm going with that one. And I think you can like stitch the light and the dark version, which I haven't decided which one yet, depending on which colour I stitch it with. So that is something that I want to stitch in the next the next month or so. I definitely will be buying the fabric for that, so I can show you that next time we speak. Oh, so haul. I keep telling myself every month, you don't need any more patterns. And I keep not listening to myself every month. I'm just telling myself that it's a hobby as well as stitching, but at this point I don't know if I've got enough time in my lifetime to be able to stitch all the patterns that I've bought myself. I'm hoping I do. I always joke with my partner and say, if I die and I've got like 20 whips on the go, would you be able to complete them? And he said no. So that makes me really sad. But back to my haul. I did mention earlier, I met up with two lovely ladies that I met on Facebook on a couple of stitchy groups. One is Tan and one is Michelle, or Shelley. And we both met up, all three of us met up in Hereford. We went to a lovely cafe and we sat there all day stitching and talking. And Shelley is a lady who has cross-stitched a little bit before, and she embroiders mostly, so her embroidery is incredible. She showed me some photos on Facebook Messenger, and far beyond what I can do with embroidery. But for her first proper cross stitch back into it, she's decided to do a heaven and earth design. I think it's not his master's voice, because that's the one with the Ouija board. It's the cat on the bookshelf. I've seen a lot of people stitch it. Can't remember the name of it for the life of me. If I can remember, I'll pop it down here. And she asked us for advice on like starting and getting the kit together, and we helped her with that. I think Tan did more of it because she does some incredible full coverage pieces as well. She's working on a Hogwarts one at the moment, which is incredible. But sitting with these two ladies, watching them stitch heaven and earth and start stitching a heaven and earth, or HAED, however you want to say it. I think that's probably easier for me to say rather than get tongue-tied again. I just thought, I need to start one. I need to try parking. I need something new when it comes to cross stitch. So I come home, thought I might buy one, and hard, and then Shelley messaged me, there's a sale on heaven and earth patterns. So I went and bought two. So I love all the cat ones, but I'm more of a dog person myself. Didn't have any dog patterns I like the look of on there. I think most of them are spaniels, and I love skinny dogs. I love all dogs, but skinny dogs are my favourite, like sight hounds, etc. Couldn't find anything like that, so I thought, well, where do dogs come from? They come from wolves. So I bought myself this Wolf Song pattern by Lisa Parker. I can't believe the amount of threads you need for the pattern. I also bought Comforts of Home by Terry Redlin. So I think the first Heaven and Earth full coverage design I am going to stitch is the Comforts of Home. I've started to put a list together of what I need for the kit. I'm probably going to stitch in CXC because if I try and stitch it in DMC, I think I'm going to bankrupt myself. So I am going to start sourcing the stuff for that, but that is something that I aim to do in 2023, is start my first Heaven and Earth full coverage. So they are the two that I've bought, and wish me luck with trying to learn parking and like the rose method and things. I'm sure Tan will help me at some point when I ring her crying because I haven't figured it out. So the next pattern that I bought as well was another Night Spirit Studio pattern, and I've seen so many people stitching this for Stitch for Sage, and it was one of the ones I really wanted to stitch. I saw so many people stitching it, I didn't want to miss out on stitching it, so I bought it as well. So this is going to be my Christmas stitch because it is a holiday alien invasion called Unexpected Visitors, and this is what it's going to look like completed. And I'm not the biggest Christmas stitcher. I'm a bit of a Scrooge when it comes to Christmas. I love that spending time with your family, but I don't like the consumerism of it all. But I know that people love Christmas so much, and I'm not going to stop people from enjoying Christmas. That is just my opinion on it. So you'll probably see more alternative Christmas designs from me. That's all I'm saying on the matter. So back to my haul before I get people unfollowing me because of me talking about Christmas cross stitch. So I've gone through all the patterns I've bought, a lot less than last time I spoke to you, but I think 2024 is going to have to be a no-buy pattern year, just so I can get through them and stitch all the ones that I've got before I buy any more. I just get scared that if I don't buy it, it's going to go out of print, or they're not going to sell it anymore and I'll miss out. But I need to practice. If it's meant to be, it will be when it comes to patterns, because I have a lot. So going on to other things that I've bought, I have bought quite a boring purchase, but this is 18 count Aida, ready to stitch the Mourning Willow pattern by Night Spirit Studio. I bought quite a lot. It's probably going to fit on there and some, but I just thought I've just bought so many Night Spirit Studio patterns that having black Aida never hurts. So that is that. I've got the colours already in stash for that. I think it's just two. I think there's like a gold colour and a white colour, and that's all that you're stitching on the Mourning Willow one. So that is going to be quite an easy one, I think. So that one will be coming into play soon. So I bought two of these. I don't know what the second one was for. I'll figure it out again. I'll just put it in stash for now. But the first one, or one of them, is for the Pink and Sun landscape that I am going to be starting and was voted on Instagram to start. So I've bought plain white Evenweave, 28 count. So that is what I'm going to stitch the Pink and Sun landscape on. And like I said, I've got two of these. And these are all the colours. They're not organised very nicely. Apologies. Haven't got round to doing it yet. But this is all the colours. And these are CXC. So rather than DMC, I really wanted to try CXC, and honestly I can't see a difference in the colour themselves. They're slightly shinier and I think they're a little bit fluffier than DMC, but they are a third of the price. I just thought I'm just going to give it a go because I'm starting loads of stuff lately and it's costing me an arm and a leg with DMC, so I'm going to do CXC on this one, see how it goes, and I'll probably do it on the HAED and I'll report back and let you know how I found it. But yeah, I've got the colours to start, I've got the fabric to start, I just need to start. So that is all ready. The next fabric that I've bought, this was from Sew It All as well, so was the White Evenweave and the Boardwalk for the Stitchrovia I was showing you earlier. This is called Dusky Sky, and that's quite an accurate representation really of what it looks like. It's slightly more blue, don't know, more grey when you hold it up close, but slightly more blue. It's an 18 count. I don't know what I'm going to stitch on this. I just like the look of it, and I thought I'm already putting an order in. I'll just put this into stash, and then maybe some like Halloween patterns would look quite nice on there. But yeah, that is another one that I bought from Sew It All. So that's all the haul that I've bought. So it's mainly kitting up for the patterns that I've bought previously. But it's been a bit short and sweet today. I am going away now for 2 weeks. We're going camping. We're going in our camper van to Norfolk Broads, and then we're going to, because we live in South Wales, we're going travelling 5 hours to Norfolk Broads, staying there for a week or 5 days. Then we're going to be travelling back to West Sussex, which is a 4-hour drive, and then we're staying there for 3 nights in a forest somewhere, and then we will be going to the Forest of Dean. Yeah, we're staying there for 2 nights as well, and that's a campsite we stayed in last year. There was no signal. We went on walks in the Forest of Dean. There's wild boar and deer that live there. Molly actually tried to chase after some deer when we were in the woods, so we'll have to be wary of that next time. But we didn't see any wild boar, unfortunately, but it was just such a lovely place to be, just be off grid and just be able to sit there, read and stitch. So I'm really looking forward to all 3 of those campsites. So it's going to be a really nice time away. So that's everything for my stitchy talk. I want to go through a couple of things that I've watched and what I've been reading as well. So I went on holiday recently for Johnny's birthday. We went with a couple of friends and their dog and our dog to HAED. And when I was there, I had to go into Richard Booth's bookshop, which is one of the most famous ones there. So I had to go there and buy a couple of books. However, when we were away on holiday, I was reading this book, Fourth Wing. So this was suggested by so many different FlossTubers online that I couldn't not buy it. It was Wolf Down the Rabbit Hole, and a Kansas City girl in a Colorado world was reading it and they couldn't get enough. So I picked it up, and it is quite a beast of a book and I could not put it down. So I was reading that the whole time we were away. I was stealing moments so I could go away and just read it on my own, even though we were on like a friend holiday, but they didn't mind. It's all cool. So this book is incredible. I haven't read a book like this for a long time, but I do like fantasy. It's kind of like young, not young adult, because there's a bit of sex in it. How do I explain this without butchering it? I feel like when I do explain books, I butcher them. But it's about a war college where you get to be either scribe, a rider, or healer. And it follows this 20-year-old girl who joins the college thinking she's going to be a scribe, but she's forced to be a rider, and she's quite weak because of a disease that she has, and she thinks she's going to fail, and it just follows her story. And there's a lot of sexual tension in the book, a bit of a romance going along, lots of dragons. I couldn't put it down, and I thought the sex scenes in it were very well written and not that cheesy like they usually are. So if you're into dragons and steamy books, I suggest this one. I've already pre-ordered the one on the 11th. The 11th? I've already pre-ordered the second book, which comes out in November, and I'm trying not to wish away the months so I can read it, but I enjoyed this so much and it's got me back into reading quite a lot. So when I was in HAED, I decided to buy a couple of books. Pandora's Jar, Women in the Greek Myths. So it's all about the women, certain women in Greek myths that may or may not have been missed out on or just misinterpreted from what they were originally written back in Greek times. So it just explores all of that. So I did read the Pandora section, and there was a lot of good juicy things in there that I don't really want to reveal to you. If you're really interested in reading it, I'd pick it up and give it a read yourself. However, I don't know a lot about the myths, the Greek myths, so some of the people in there, they've gone straight over my head, and I think I'm going to put it down until I've read Mythos by Stephen Fry with all the ancient Greek myths in, the common ones, so I can kind of relate back to this and then see the women in those stories and be able to read more about them and more of the truth on them. So I am really liking this, but it'll make more sense when I learn more about the myths, I think. So that was a good one. That one is by Natalie Haynes. And then I've bought this one as well, The Witches of Vardo. So this is based in Norway, I believe, in 1662, and it's a dangerous time to be alive for a woman. I think there's a story, I haven't started it yet, I just bought it. But I think there's a story about a woman who has an affair after she becomes widowed, and I think they blame her and say she's a witch, even though the man was involved too. So quite feminist books that I bought when I was there, but you know, we love a bit of feminism, and I love witches too, so I'm really excited to read that one. So that's all for me butchering books, but they're the ones that I have been reading, have bought, or want to read. So what I have watched lately, so I watched Insidious, The Red Door. I've watched all the Insidious films with my partner. We love horror movies, and we just thought it'd be great to go to the cinema and watch this one. I enjoyed it. There was some scary jumpy bits in it, especially the bit with the MRI. I get MRIs yearly, and that's definitely going to be in my head when I go for my next one. Don't worry, nothing wrong with me. I just get checkups on my boobs every year just to check I don't have any breast cancer from health reasons from when I was younger. But yeah, I'm not going to be looking forward to the next one because that was quite a creepy bit in the film. Enjoyed it. It was quite cheesy in parts, and it did feel like the end of the movie franchise. It wasn't as good as the first two, but it was nice to, you know, reminisce on all the evil characters that were in the last couple of films. If you're into those films, I would suggest you go and watch it, but I wouldn't like rave about it. It's not incredible, but it was like reminiscing with an old friend. I finally finished Fantastic Mr. Fox by Wes Anderson. One of Johnny's favourites. One of my favourites of Wes Anderson is I Love Dogs. And I just thought, do you know what? I've tried to watch this a couple of times. Maybe I just wasn't in the right frame of mind. But we sat down and watched it one weekend and I fell in love with it. So I'll probably be trying to find some Stitchy related Fantastic Mr. Fox patterns. I really enjoyed that. And what else have I been watching? I've not watched as much, to be honest. I've tried to be reading, listening to audiobooks rather than sat down watching TV. But we did watch Friday night because it was pouring down with rain here in Wales. We watched The Deepest Breath, which is a documentary on Netflix, like a documentary film about these freedivers. God, it was intense. It followed these two freedivers. One was like part of the safety team, and one was doing it for, I believe, Olympic, like world record. And yeah, like they swim down into the ocean about like 102, 104 meters. Miles is insane. Meters down, and then they have to swim it back up on one breath. It was intense. It was a very good documentary and I very much enjoyed it. So if that's something that you like the sound of, I would go and check that out. So that's all I've been watching. Thank you guys for sticking around if you've got this far, and if you don't already, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Thank you everyone for following me, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye.